Hey everybody, I hope and pray that you're doing well. Today as we come to our word from the Word. And today that word is turn. Turn. Now, sometimes we turn away from those things that we don't like or we don't want to deal with. And sometimes we even turn away from God and turn towards other things. And that's kind of where our focus is going to be today. Leviticus chapter 20, you're going to see a kind of a summary of some of the things he's talked about. But he also wants to go ahead and give you and give the Israelites the punishment for the sins that he has mentioned. Now, earlier, many of these, he just said that they would be cut off. They would be cut off. Here, he makes sure that, when he means cut off, he means you will be killed. And if you don't pay that, then he's going to take it out on not just you, but then on your family as well in some situations. And you'll see that as you read through here. But there's one thing I think that's interesting, that it is that response that God, if we turn against God, he will turn against us. Originally in with our sin nature, we had already turned against God, and yet by the precious blood of Jesus and the love and the mercy of God the Father, that he sent Jesus and he loved us, God sent his son to die for us even while we were sinners. So there's great, not only hope in that, and there's great love and mercy and grace in that, but it also shows us the divine nature of God that still had to satisfy the wrath of God, but he satisfied it through his son Jesus. Now, everything in the Old Testament, you say, wait a minute, that's New Testament, we're talking about Leviticus, but everything that's in Leviticus is showing us how holy God is. And also, really in the background, it's also showing us all how there is no hope without Jesus, how we are to be set apart, and how seriously God deals with sin. So today, as we talk about turn, the way that we turn away from him and then what he does in response, you see it here in verses 1 through 8 today of Leviticus 20. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Again, you shall say to the children of Israel, whoever of the children of Israel or of the strangers who dwell in Israel, who gives any of his descendants to Molech, he shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones. I will set my face against that man, and he will be cut off from his people, because he has given some of his descendants to Molech, to defile my sanctuary and profane my holy name. And if the people of the land should in any way hide their eyes from the man, when he gives some of his descendants to Molech, and they do not kill him, then I will set my face against that man and against his family, and I will cut him off from his people, and all who prostitute themselves with him to commit harlotry with Molech. And the person who turns to mediums and familiar spirits to prostitute himself with them, I will set my face against that person and cut him off from his people. Consecrate yourselves, therefore, and be holy, for I am the Lord your God, and you shall keep my statutes and perform them. I am the Lord who sanctifies you. So not only does he tell them what's going to happen, but he tells them the reason why. I am the Lord your God. I am the one who is sanctifying you and making you holy. Don't turn away. But if you do turn, he says, I will set my face against you. In other words, he would turn his face. He would turn his wrath against you. Now think about that. I don't want to be at the end of the wrath of God. I've already been there, right, as a sinner. But saved by the grace of God, I sure don't want to be at the end of that wrath. Now, even as he's telling them this, why is it so important that they don't turn to offering their children, their descendants, to Molech? And why is it so important that they not consult mediums and spiritists and things like that? Well, both of those instances show us that the people were trying to receive information. They were trying to worship other little g gods. They were trying to serve something other than God. I mean, even the mediums and spiritists, those, what they would do is they're asking evil spirits to lead and guide them. Now, why in the world would a Christian today have any need of consulting with a psychic or a medium or anybody who is encouraging the act of demons to lead them? And let's not joke so much about them, because it is a spiritual warfare, and it is a serious matter that I think Christians all too often don't take seriously enough. We think, oh, well, they're just nuts. Well, the thing is that there is demonic power in this world. And as soon as we turn and offer up and listen to the advice of those who are asking demonic powers, what do you think's going to happen? Nothing good can come of that. Nothing that will please God could come of that. And even to go back to the ones that were offering their children to Molech, it was the ones who were offering up their children as child sacrifices to be burned and offered up. And I mean, you think about that. You're sacrificing the blessing of God and the future blessings of God that would come through your descendants by offering these children up. And I know today that even just to say something like that, that sounds absurd in our culture. And you say that would never happen. But I wonder how many other altars we offer our children up on. I wonder how many other little g gods we are lifting our children up to, showing them that it's more important to be comfortable in the way that you feel than it is to live like God says to live. That we'll offer them up to the gods of church isn't important. And then all of a sudden we wonder why they act like hellions, because they don't know Jesus. They don't spend any time with him. They don't see their parents or their grandparents spending any time with Jesus. There's a lot of other little g gods out there. There's a lot of Molechs in our day and time today that, quite frankly, many parents are offering their children up to. Many other powers in this world that people are asking advice from that are not God. We see in the Old Testament that the punishment was death. And I will tell you this, that I believe that many today who are not saved and they are seeking these things and seeking after worshiping these little g gods, they are facing the same fate. But not just a physical death, but a spiritual death, eternally separated from Jesus. Today, don't turn away from God. Why not turn back to him? God bless you. And I pray you have a great, great day.